Broadcasting live from the crumbling vestige on the plain of Zendikar, this is Tap Tap Concede. Welcome everybody to Tap Tap Concede. Four of us here.
Dear God, it's crowded.
It's been a while, actually.
It's been a very long time since we've done a four-person.
And actually,
Wait, so who's Gideon?
oh no,
What?
you say that, but it actually feels less crowded than it did at the old on the old set.
This is much nicer than the old
much
set.
nicer.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have our new microphones.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes. Ooh, so let us know how things sound. We all just came
Literally
back
just.
from the Oath of the Gatewatch pre-release. Despite doing an episode of Friday Nights all about the two-headed giant format, and despite that being sort of the format du jour that Wizards was pushing for the pre-release, for various reasons we all went with the single-player pre-release.
Maybe because of.
In part because,
just-
I mean, for me, I don't like two-headed giant.
Yeah.
I like it fine, but if I had to
It's
take
okay.
off, I didn't want to have to leave a
Yeah.
partner.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, and we'll tell you all about our pre-release decks and how the pre-release went. So settle in. But first, we're going to crack a pack of Oath of the Gatewatch. Because, spoilers, some of us won at least one pack.
I think
So,
all of us won.
Yeah,
At least
everybody
one
here had a good enough record that we all won packs.
Yes.
There's no losers on this podcast. All right.
all right, first up, Eldrazi Aggressor. It's a 2/3 for 2 and a red with Devoid, and it has haste as long as you control another colorless creature.
Played against this card a lot today.
Yep.
It's fine.
played-
It's just a completely reasonable, 3-mana 2/3 that
I played with
sometimes
it.
has haste.
It had haste a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. Core Scythe Master. 3/1 for 2 and a white Core Soldier Ally, and it has first strike as long as it's attacking.
I did not see this.
So not good.
all.
Not good on defense.
No, and not super
fine on
great
defense, but-
with some of the
Yeah, there's
pinging
enough, like,
spells.
Vampire, the 1/4 flyer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like I
blocks
saw,
it really well.
Yeah.
There's even a 1/4 white ally.
Yeah.
but there's a couple the red spell, which I'm going to cheat and look at my deck because it's in here. But the Spark Mage's Gambit, which is 1 in a red, deal 1 damage to up to 2 target creatures, and they can't block this turn.
Oh nice.
So I
just
saw
obliterate this guy.
I saw next to me in one of the rounds, somebody had the Scythe Master and another X1 of some sort, and the opponent just went ping ping, dead, and I was like,
I saw this guy once in a deck that left very early on in the day.
Next up, if you want to stop the Spark Mage's Gambit, we got a negate.
negate.
Negate's back.
Negate
Back again. Tell a friend. Sorry. 1 in a blue instant counter target non-creature spell. In case that was.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I think-
It's always been fine.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's been better than fine.
That's true, actually.
I will be curious to know if
This
if
isn't
this
thi-
format is
This is
one
a
of those
much more
times.
creature-heavy format.
It is, yeah.
So, Corpse Churn is 1 in a
Gross.
black for an instant. Put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand.
I don't like this card.
I don't think this is great for this format because this format doesn't really care about the graveyard very much at all.
Well, I mean, this card cares about the graveyard, but
Well, this card does.
No, I don't like this card
No.
at all. I think it's kind of bad.
Speaking of,
Yeah. I want to compare this to Forbidden Alchemy from Innistrad, which was
Oh, 'cause
top
you-
4, choose one, put the rest in your graveyard.
right? Because you get to you get to choose the best creature out of whatever
Yeah.
whatever you drew
Except for
slash
that,
is in your
like-
bin.
That card is significantly better than this card.
Yeah.
I'd rather just draw a creature and then draw whatever that creature would be in a couple turns.
Yeah.
Natural State is a single green mana instant, destroy target artifact or enchantment with converted mana cost 3 or less.
Sideboard.
Sideboard only, and
Yeah.
maybe even then it's not amazing.
It's not that good. I mean, unless they're playing
Yeah.
some super sick artifacts or enchantments.
There are other better ways to get rid of artifacts or enchantments.
Yeah, I think so.
I love this guy. Kozilek's Translator.
Yep.
First of all, the art is
Yep.
gorgeous.
The art is gorgeous. Yeah.
I love how the translator's doing the...
He's doing the shrug emote, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a 3/5 for 4 and a black with Devoid. Pay 1 life, add a colorless to your mana pool. You can only activate that ability once per turn. But you get sort of like a little bit of
In
ramp
my
there.
opinion, currently first pick
Yeah.
of this pack. 3/5 is real in this format.
It's really hard to get past.
It is real, and it's really
Well,
hard
because
to
remember
kill
Oracle of
and-
Dust from
oh.
Battle for Zendikar, right?
Yeah.
With a 3/5, and it was the same in blue.
Yeah.
And also rad flavor text from Nothingness Sustenance.
Yeah.
And his like trail of bismuth.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I accidentally all your water.
Yeah, sorry, guys. Core Sky Climber, which I believe was a Nintendo game. It's a 3/2 Core Soldier ally for 2 and a white. For 1 and a white, Core Sky Climber gains flying until end of turn. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's ally, 3/2 for 3, nice and aggressive, and you can jump it if you have to. It's pretty cool. Reality Hemorrhage.
Love the name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1 in a red, instant, devoid, deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So it's a
It's shock.
2 mana shock. So you're going to play it.
Yep.
You're
Yep.
not playing shock.
And I did play it today.
Yep.
And it was sweet.
Do you take this over the translator?
I think I might.
I think that's fair.
I feel like this is going to be an aggressive format. That being said, Reality Hemorrhage doesn't kill the 3/5. It doesn't
Yeah.
even come close to killing the 3/5. So, a little awkward.
Got some wastes. The waste that you're seeing on camera, the way that the card recognition works is a little different. But
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's the Raymond Swanland wastes.
Wait, so are there actually? I guess there are wastes out there that look
In the
like
fat pack.
Not
No.
that pack,
No.
the intro decks.
the
Oh,
the intro
sorry, the
decks.
wastes in the intro decks look like that.
That's weird. Why would they do that?
Shame.
I don't know.
Which one do you want?
Well, it's to shame new players.
The Raymond Swan,
Oh, right.
yeah.
number 184,
184.
if it matters. It's
so,
not a big deal. Anyway, wastes.
Yeah.
I opened 3. James
so you
opened none.
3. I opened none.
I opened one,
And 1. Interesting.
but it's not like colorless mana wasn't hard to get.
No,
Wow.
that's true.
We'll get into my mana base. I had 6 colorless sources,
Yeah.
so it was pretty interesting. Who's gonna go for a walk in the wastes? The Walker of the Wastes. It's 4 and a colorless for a 4/4 Eldrazi with trample, and it gets +1/+1 for each land you control named Wastes. I might have run this guy actually,
I had this guy in my pool,
but you opened.
but
no
I had
wastes.
no wastes.
So it was a 4/4 trample for 5.
For 5 wasn't terrible, but I had better
How-
cards in my opinion.
Is this guy
So
roughly comparable to like Nightmare?
Oh wow, Nightmare. That's going back. That's the one that
Yeah, it's
gets bigger if you have swamps.
it's like an XX where X is equal to the number of swamps, and it's like 6 mana with flying. Flying Nightmare.
I mean, even if you don't have waste, see, this is the thing: is
Yeah.
you can get the colorless mana out of. There's creatures that produce colorless, like we've already seen. There's any land, like almost all the non-basic lands produce colorless.
Yeah.
So you can cast that guy without wastes. Whereas Nightmare, you have to have at least 1 swamp. I think this guy's actually probably better than Nightmare, but
Yeah.
I don't think they're great.
No, yeah, better than Nightmare is a loose.
Next up is Immolating Glare. Not that it's reading. It's odd.
nothing like the white.
It's 1 and a white for an instant that is destroy target attacking creature.
This card seems sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get to kill
White
something.
Doomblade.
Yeah.
This is Divine Verdict is the one. It's the 4 mana one, but
Yeah.
it's attacking or blocking.
Oh, attacking
but this
or
is just like
Yeah, no, this card seems
Very relevant.
yeah.
super good.
Void Shatter is next. It's 1 blue.
Down the thing. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Void Shatter. 1 blue, instant, devoid, counter target spell. So it's cancel. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into the graveyard.
Yeah, colorless dissipate.
Yeah.
Ran one of these, countered 2 spells all day. All
Did it
star.
feel good? Did it feel good?
It felt good
it
once. The other time was just like, I got nothing else to do, so I'm just
Did
I'm
it
gonna
feel
counter.
bad for your opponent though?
Once, yes. The other time, not really. It was sort of whatever.
We have a rare. It's not amazing. It is Hedron Alignment. Hedron Alignment is 2 and a blue for an enchantment with hexproof. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may reveal your hand. If you do, you win the game. If you own a card named Hedron Alignment, in exile, in your hand, in your graveyard, and on the battlefield.
Who
And-
thought they were going to see this today?
And another
I lived in terror of opening 2 of these and 3 oaths.
Yeah,
Or no, 2 of these
two
and 2 oaths.
two O's. Yeah.
Yeah.
It,
This card is bad.
you can also pay 1 and a blue to scry.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's
Not
that's
good.
not good.
There are better ways to scry in this format.
Yeah.
I know they have to print silly fun cards, but this one
love
this
this
one
one.
sucks. Like this is going to feel so bad when it's your like one of your 2 rares
Yeah.
out of Oath draft.
Yeah.
Because it's you because you just can't make it like this doesn't
Yeah, like
work.
the guy next to you opens Kozilek and you open this.
It opens this, yeah, and it's just like, welp.
It's
But,
just like if it was a single blue mana scry, maybe like it's just bad enough that you don't want to run it by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also got a zombie token in a swamp and a foil, which is indeed blinding. It is a blinding drone. 1 in a blue for a 1/3 with devoid, and for a colorless and tap it, tap target creature. Only a single mana to tap, but it must be colorless.
Yeah.
Blinding drone, pretty cool. So what are we taking out of this pack? Blinding drone's not bad. We were talking.
drone's sweet.
We were talking about reality hemorrhage. We were talking about Kozilek's translator, and we were talking about immolating glare, and we were not talking about hedron alignment. And then Walker of the Waste.
Man, it might be the glare.
Yeah, I think it's the glare.
Like, I think I take glare
What else?
over the shock, and I think I take. Yeah, I think I just take the glare.
Yeah,
I think just.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think.
And you've got 2 like
Straight removal.
reasonable core that you could wheel out of this. Like the Scythemaster again is not amazing, but the Sky Climber's pretty all right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cool.
cool pack.
Let us know what you would have picked and how we were wrong.
Yes. All right. Now we're going to talk about what our how our pre-release decks turned out, and we're gonna go through and tell you every card in the deck. We're not going to put them all up on screen because we're just going to knock through them very, very quickly to give you an idea of what the whole deck is, and then we'll sort of drill down on some individual cards. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Here,
Sure.
actually. So we had 2 Hedron Crawlers, a Reality Smasher, and a World Breaker, an Eyeless Watcher, a Call of the Scions, 2 Tajuru War Callers, a Tajuru Path Warden, Scion Summoner, Stalking Drone, Catacomb Sifter, 2 Baloth Nulls,
1 foil.
yes, a Smothering Abomination, Slaughter Drone, Retreat to Hagra, Havoc Sower, Kozilek's Translator, Vampire Envoy, another Vampire Envoy, Malakir Familiar, Crumbling Vestige, and Waste, and then some lands.
Okay.
So I'm really interested to talk to you about this because this is not the deck that you built for round 1.
No. I had red in here as well, mainly due to the reality hemorrhage.
Right.
Caught my eye, and I thought, okay, let's add some aggression to this deck.
Which seems perfectly fair.
Yeah, and that actually, I should have stuck with red for my first game, but also sideboarded in Tears of Valakut, which would have been useful because I went up against Drana first.
Tears of
I
Valakut,
believe
right?
you mean Tears of
Yeah, that's the 1 in a red instant, can't be countered.
Yes,
And just domes a flying creature for 5.
gets rid of Drana.
Yeah.
Definitely should have boarded that NES.
Yes.
Yeah, plummets the red card now.
Yeah, neat.
But yeah, so that first game, I was feeling bad, and we all sat around. You had to look at my other green cards.
Yeah, well, because you were in 3 colors, which
Yes.
means, it's difficult to splash, for example, double green cards. But you had 2 Tajuru War Callers.
They were just sitting there,
Yeah.
not doing
And
anything.
then, here, let me...
Yeah, please.
No, just let me grab one of the... Here we go. Whoop, throw that up on the screen. So the Tajuru War Caller, it's 3 green for a 2/1 with Rally.
Yes.
And whenever it or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, all your creatures get +2/+2. And so then we looked at the token makers you had.
Yes, which was quite a few actually. We had the Eyeless Watcher, which is a 3 and a green. I'll let you stick that up there. That gives it's devoid and gives me 2 friends.
Actually, here, give me the whole stack.
Yeah,
and you can,
yeah.
whatever you talk about, I'll throw up on the thing.
And Color of the Scions. And that's, I think those are the only guys.
You had a Scion Summoner as well, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, Scion Summoner,
Yeah.
which is one of the new ones. 2 and a green, 2 for a 2/2, and you get a 1/1 Scion.
So lots of little dudes coming into the battlefield.
And then you had your little Hedron Crawlers,
Yep.
which is the 0/1 that taps for a colorless for 2 mana. But they can attack.
Yeah. So depending on what I had in my hand at the time, it was a question of, okay, I've got all these dudes and all this stuff on the board. Do I rip a Tajuru Warcaller and start?
Oh, and a Catacomb Sifter also.
coming at them with these 3/3s now? Or do I have a couple of the Eldrazi in my hand that need to come out immediately?
And so you had 2 Tajuru Warcallers. You also had, you said, 2 of the Vampire Vampire Envoys.
You pointed out to me, and I completely forgot, are also an ally.
Yep.
Yeah, which is, and like, they're a fine blocker, and you can gain a little life with them as well. But also, yeah, they're just a 3-mana make Tajuru Warcaller go again.
And so there were a couple times during the middle of the day where I had the Tajuru Warcaller come out, and then next turn dropped a second Tajuru Warcaller and an ally on top of that.
And then, since you're already in black-green, 2 Baloth Nulls,
Yeah.
which is a 4/5 zombie beast for 4 black-green. When it enters the battlefield, you get 2 creatures back from your graveyard, or up to 2 creatures.
Which was very relevant in that game.
Yeah. I mean, if you trade off your little guys, and then you get a 6-drop that's a 4/5, which is already great, and you get your other stuff back. This seems really good.
Yeah, Null Drifter.
Null Drifter, yeah. How was Worldbreaker for you? Because this thing is large.
Worldbreaker made at least one of my games happen. Because it was very early in the game. I was playing blue-black with a single blue island. Sealed that island away on turn... Oh, God, I think it was 4.
Wow.
I put that away.
So Worldbreaker it's 6 and a green for a 5/7 Eldrazi. And when you cast it, you get to exile an artifact, enchantment, or a land. So you just got rid of their island.
Yeah, and
And this thing also has reach. Also, you can pay 2 and a colorless and sack a land to get it back from your graveyard to your hand later in the game.
which was, again, relevant.
Wow. So what was your all-star for this deck, do you think?
Oh, God. You know, it was the... I can't remember the name of it offhand, but it was the 2 and 2 black.
Oh, Smothering Abomination?
Yes. He got work done when no one else could get out there.
So the Smothering Abomination, it's 2 black for a 4/3 with flying.
Yeah.
At the beginning of your upkeep, you have to sacrifice a creature to keep this guy around.
Which was really good, because I generally had enough creatures on the battlefield that I could do that.
Like your little scions.
Yeah.
And you have, again, ways to get them back from the graveyard.
And it meant that I could then start drawing 2 cards at the beginning of each turn.
Because whenever you sacrifice a creature, you draw a card. Wow.
Yeah. And so that just opened up the deck to me at that point.
Do we think that maybe green is a little better in this
hope
format
so.
than BFZ?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, your all-star green cards were the war callers, but I mean, even little Stalking Drone gave me some trouble.
Yeah.
The Stalking Drone he's a new one. He's a bear. He's a 2/2 for 1 and a green.
But
But you can pay a colorless to give him +1/+2 until end of turn. Only once. But it reminds me of Dark Thicket Wolf from Innistrad.
Yep.
I mean, that guy cost 3 to activate, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, so this is only 1 mana to activate. It's +1/+2 instead of +2/+2.
It's still really good.
It's very
yeah,
good.
I feel like this is easily one of the better 2-drop bears
Yeah.
in the format now. So, yeah, I think green definitely got some pretty impressive support that it needed, because it was definitely pretty not good in just Battle for Zendikar, but I think it's a real thing, or hopefully it's a real thing.
Yeah, I've had good experiences with green in Battle for Zendikar, mainly because it's always open.
Yeah, right, because nobody wants to play green.
Nobody wants
Nobody
to play
wants
it,
to play,
and you
yeah.
can kind of sometimes reading the signals, and you wind up just being able to pick up really good things, like getting past that Hydra,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
Were there any interesting plays or other all
not
stars
any,
from the
not any
deck?
particular plays, but I was commenting about the easier ways to scry in this game. And that was the Catacomb Sifter.
Oh yeah.
Again, very relevant because you have lots of these Eldrazi
Yeah.
scions, which you then sack to make mana. And what a great time to scry as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was another good fun. Yeah, other than that, it was a fun deck to play, and it didn't really stall out except to massive board presences,
Right.
which thankfully didn't come up that often because it was pretty quick off the mark too.
I was gonna say, did anything really give you the gears over the course of the day?
Yeah, not anything except for just a big
You didn't
group
get
of people.
you didn't get super blown out by anything.
Yeah.
Cool. Cam?
All right. My deck was black-white life gain, so I suppose...
That's really funny.
Yeah, exactly. You mock me, sir. Anyway, okay. Searing Light, 2 Spatial Contortion,
Ooh.
Grasp of Darkness, Matter Reshaper, Dominator Drone, Essence Depleter, Malakir Familiar, Vampire Envoy, Seer's Lantern, Thought Not Seer, Iona's Blessing, Relief Captain, Zulaport Chain Mage, Expedition Raptor, General Tazri, who's my promo foil, Hero of Gomafada, Step Glider, Demon's Grasp, 2 Kozilek's Translator, Grip of Desolation, and somebody who was on break for the entire tournament, Emiria Shepherd.
Oh.
Didn't see her once.
That sucks. That's a good card.
You saw her once.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right, because I flipped her when you killed my... You killed my Matter Reshaper.
Matter Reshaper, by the way, I hadn't seen until the pre-release.
Yeah.
This guy's sweet. Here, let me throw him up
Yeah.
on the thing.
No, excellent card. Yeah, I lost game 3 to a big jerk.
Yeah, Cam and I fought in round 3. Matter Reshaper is 2 and a colorless for a 3/2, which is just fine.
Yeah.
And then whenever this dies, you reveal the top card of your library. If it's a permanent of converted mana cost 3 or less, and that includes land, you just get to put it into play. Otherwise, you just draw the card. So worst case scenario, when it dies, you draw a card. Which isn't what ended up happening with the Emiria Shepherd.
Yep.
So what? How did it play?
It played very well when it got to its good cards. So All-Stars, Essence Depleter.
Oh man, yes.
This guy was not a house, but a win con all on his own.
Yeah, 2 and a black for a 2/3 with an activated ability, 1 and a colorless, drain for 1. Target
Yep.
opponent loses a life and you gain a life.
Yeah.
And I got confused between this one and Kozilek's Translator that you could only do this once a turn. No, you can do this as many times as you have colorless mana.
Yeah.
This would have been nice to have.
So, you remember the guy that lightning bolted in Battle for Zendikar.
Oh, the Valakut Invoker.
Yeah. That guy was playable. This guy is much better IMO.
If you have the colorless
Yeah.
sources to support it, yeah.
Yeah. He was also really good with Malakir Familiar.
Hey!
How big do you want Malakir Familiar to be this turn?
How many times can you activate Essence Depleter?
Yeah. Matter Reshaper we've talked about, and I really liked. Thought Not Seer.
Thought Not Seer is
This guy's weird.
super cool.
So 3 and a colorless.
Vendilion Greebleething.
3 and a colorless for a 4/4. 4 mana 4/4. Sweet. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card and exile that card. Okay.
Why?
And then when it leaves the battlefield, they draw a card, but they don't get to draw that card.
That card's gone forever.
It's not
Yeah.
not like a brain slug. What's the
Brain maggot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
brain
not like a
maggot.
brain maggot or a,
Yeah, no, this is a Vendilion Clique
or
effect.
a mesmeric fiend. That's what I was thinking of.
And I always loved I forget where I read it, but an article written by the person who designed Vendilion Clique said the idea was that in the backstory, the 3 fairies are like Una's spies.
Right.
And their ability reflects them going into somebody's dreams and removing dangerous thoughts and then replacing them with like a dream about a stream or something harmless.
Huh.
Right?
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Whereas the Thought Not Seer just sort of like pops open the top of your head.
And it's like,
Rummage, rummage, rummage.
This.
Goodbye.
He also sounds like a Seinfeld character.
Thought Not Seer.
Thought Not Seer.
Damn it. Terrible.
other fun cards. Zulaport Chain Mage was fine with Vampire Envoy.
That's the ally one?
Yeah, it's a 4/2 with Cohort. Tap an untapped ally you control. Target opponent loses 2 life. It's also a 4/2. It dies to everything, but sometimes you can actually,
How many allies do you have?
not enough good ones. I had quite a few not very good allies. And
What
allies
does General Tazri do, speaking of allies?
General Tazri has this ability that when she enters into the battlefield, she searches for Hero of Gomafada.
Oh, I see. So General Tazri, it's a 3/4 for 4 and a white. When General Tazri enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an ally card, reveal it, shuffle it into your hand, and your best ally elsewhere in the deck is Hero of Gomafada. So really, her ability reads, goes and searches for Hero of Gomafada. General Tazri also has this ability that for white, blue, black, red, green, ally creatures you control get +X until end of turn, where X is the number of colors among those creatures, and that was never going to happen ever in this world.
Yeah.
No. I don't think that's ever going to happen in
it was a
Limited.
bit facetious to say that she goes and gets Hero of Gamafata all the time. Sometimes she would go and get Relief Captain if I had a board presence.
Relief Captain is the 3/2 for 2 white that when it enters the battlefield support 3. That's a lot of counters to throw around for 4 mana.
Yeah, no, that felt good.
Yeah.
This card seems really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this seems like one of the, what you want to call them, mythic uncommons. Mm-hmm. I mean, not quite, but you know what's a mythic uncommon in this set? That green card, the 5 mana,
man.
support 2, they kill something.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I don't
You
know what
win the
it
card, you expect a high five.
was. Yeah, it's I don't actually know what it's called, so I don't know if Paul is able to find it, but it's, you said it was a 5 mana green card.
Yeah,
you support
it's-
2, and then
it's
those creatures.
Nissa's Outrage, Nissa's Outburst, Nissa's...
Outhouse.
Yeah,
This is Outhouse.
Nissa kicks your ass.
There we go.
And it was you put
I'm not bitter.
Judgment?
Nissa's Judgment.
4 and a green sorcery, support 2, choose up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it deals damage to its power to that creature. So, at worst, the 2 creatures who you just supported, but possibly others, just stand around the creature and punch them.
Yeah, like they just surround your deck and go, gonna cry, gonna cry, gonna cry, gonna cry, and your deck's like, no.
Oh, wow.
Seems good.
That's
So
a really good
basically,
card.
whenever this played, it was like, kill your Thought Knots here. So I buff my team, kill your best creature and draw a card.
Wow. Yeah, all right. What were some other standouts?
I don't know. Now I'm just too angry to talk. Grasp. Of
I'm so
Darkness.
so glad Grasp of Darkness is back.
Yeah, this feels right at uncommon.
Yeah, Grasp is. Oh yeah, it was printed at common before, wasn't it?
Yeah,
In
Scars was a.
Mirrodin Besiege, I think, or Scars.
I think it was.
It was black instant. Target creature gets -4/-4.
Yeah.
That's consider that Demon's Grasp was -5/-5 for 5 mana at sorcery speed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Grasp
that's in here.
Grasp beats the pants off of it.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, Demon's Grasp definitely killed some of my stuff today.
Yeah, and then I mean, speaking of cards that are just really good.
Oh, Grip
Grip.
and Sip. Grip of Desolation is just
Ying.
so good. Again, especially with even more ways to make land creatures now.
Yeah.
Because you sometimes you get to kill 2 creatures, sometimes you get to just set them back on land. But
Yeah.
man, Grip is
Sometimes,
so
like,
good.
you blow up your opponent's splash. People were being very greedy with their mana bases, I found today.
Yep. Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah.
That was great for me.
Good card. Play it.
Yeah.
I think that's all of my All-Stars.
Did you have any interesting interactions?
Mainly, it was just like the Malakir Familiar Essence Depleter kind of deal.
Anything you faced though?
There was a green card that killed all my dudes.
Right. Okay. I guess we
Green
talked
card
about that.
Killed all my dudes.
It's a bit of a sticking point for him.
There was-
Let's stop talking about it.
There was what else? I played in the mirror match once, but just drew better. I beat Kozilek in one game.
Hey.
That feels
Yeah,
good.
That felt good because I was just like, drain your stuff, drain you more, get punched for 12.
Did you get to destroy literal Kozilek, or did you just battle past him?
I had a board presence and Kozilek just crushed in, punched me in the chest so hard that I threw up organs, but was still alive.
Nice.
That's
Wow.
sweet.
Yeah.
It's a pretty great distortion. By the way, I mean, we talked about it, but Kozilek the Great Distortion is 8 colorless for a 12/12. And when you cast it, if you have fewer cards than 7 in hand, you draw equal to the difference. You just draw back up to 7.
Yeah.
Also, he's got Menace, so he can't be single blocked. And you can just discard a card with converted mana cost X to counter target spell with converted mana cost X.
That one's so weird.
That's very weird.
Yeah, well,
I keep
he's got-
forgetting that's a thing on this card. And
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
still
well,
seems
disrupting
odd.
Shoal on a guy seems really good. This
Yeah.
might be one of the best reanimator targets in the game.
A lot of people are saying that. Yeah.
The being able to draw back up to 7. Oh, but that's only
It's
when you
only when
cast
you
it.
cast
Yeah.
it.
Only. Yeah.
So,
Still, though.
like, even if Kozilek gets countered, you still draw back up to 7,
Yeah.
right? Which is neat. But, you know, sometimes you just want to cheat a 10 drop into play.
Wait, you just get to cast Disrupting Shoal for free?
Yes.
That's dumb. This card is dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Disrupting
it's
Shoal
really
is
good.
very, very good card.
Disrupting Shoal, for those paying attention on audio only, is a card from Kamigawa blog where cards were dumb. It's X blue for an arcane instant, and counter target spell if its converted mana cost is X. But you can just you can exile a card from your hand rather than pay the mana cost.
Yeah.
And the CMC of the card you exile is what the CMC of the spell you're countering.
Yeah.
That's
no,
pretty good.
Kozilek's really good.
Yeah.
Kozilek's really good. Like,
No, I agree with you.
yeah.
I'm glad you beat it.
But you beat him, so he
Yeah.
can't be that good. Maybe you're just too good.
Maybe
Maybe
I'm-
Cam is overpowered.
Maybe I play powerful magic.
Yeah, maybe you play Powerful Magic. All right, let's move on. I opened Cam's pool. Felt pretty good about it. Played blue-red, and my deck included a Spark Mage's Gambit, a Reality Hemorrhage, 2 Zada's Commando, a Valakut Predator, a Tunneling Geopede, a Vestige of Emrakul, Maw of Kozilek, Consuming Sinkhole, Cinder Hellion, Fall of the Titans, Clutch of Currents,
Clutch.
Dimensional Infiltrator, Umara Entangler X2, Void Shatter, Sweep Away, Containment Membrane, Cloud Manta, Wind Rider Patrol, 2 Storm Chaser Mages,
Wow.
a Hedron Crawler, a Spawning Bed, and something called an Ancient Tomb.
Damn it. James opened an expedition.
Open the expedition. Probably, it feels like one of the better ones for sealed and limited.
Yeah.
Yeah, this card is.
Yeah.
This card is. It was kind of unfair. It didn't win me. It's not like I played this card every game, but I don't believe there was a game where I played it and lost.
Ancient Tomb, for those keeping score at home, is it's a land.
Yep.
Doesn't enter tapped.
Nope.
Untapped land. Taps for 2 colorless. It does deal 2 damage to you.
Yep.
You don't care.
Who cares?
Just don't care.
This is only going to do 4 damage to you over the course of the game because you'll have won by turn 3.
Yeah, so like the dream, which never did happen, was turn 1 Ancient Tomb, play out Hedron Crawler, turn 2 any land, and then turn 2 land, and then any of my 4-drops.
4-drop on turn 2.
4-drop on turn 2 would have been sweet, or just and then like 5-drop on turn 3. So never quite got there, but definitely can't thing. I think I can probably do this.
Yeah, you can probably do it.
So a couple standout cards, I talked about this earlier, was the Spark Mage's Gambit. 1 in a red, it's sorcery, it deals 1 damage to up to 2 target creatures. They can't block this turn. This card definitely won me the game, I think, twice.
Really?
It didn't kill the creatures.
Just as a falter?
It just worked as a falter, and that was good enough for me. So
I like that it's the cunning Spark Mage.
Yeah, but even still, even without the falter effect, I do think that this card has a real place in this meta, in this format. There's a lot of X1s running around. Even just hitting 2 Scions, feel okay with it. Like
Just take their mana away.
Just take the mana away.
Yeah.
We talked about Reality Hemorrhage, so I won't go into that. Zada's Commando, which is a 1 and a red for a Goblin Archer ally. It's 2/1. It has First Strike, which is great. I love getting down 2/1 First Strikes on turn 2.
Yeah, actually.
You feel really good. It lets you get in a couple attacks.
I maybe should have run this guy in my deck instead of one of the higher drops.
Yeah, pretty consistently was able to get. So I had 2 of these. Pretty consistently able to get them down on turn 2 in most games, and it let me get through for 2, 4, sometimes even 6 damage, just because they just couldn't block it in the early stages. And the cohort, I think, will work even better in draft with a lot more allies. I only had 4 allies in the deck, but that was enough to make the Commando real.
So like the Commando was still good late game because you were just sort
Because I
of
was
pinging?
still pinging them with my other like handful of allies.
That's impressive.
The only real, I'll sort of skip to this part right now. The only real game I had where things got kind of interesting was round 2, game 3. We went to time. and we went to the 5th and final turn, which was my turn, and I ended up winning on the back of this commando.
Wow.
I had, I believe I had both commandos down, and I had the Umara Entangler, which is just 1 in a blue for a 2/1 with prowess,
Right.
but it's an ally. So I had those 3 cards down, and I drew into my other one, which let me play it, get in for 2 in the sky, and then ping for 2 off both of the commandos.
Wow.
And deal the 4 damage that I needed to do to win the game. So that was pretty good. I like the Umara Entangler. It's like it's okay.
Like a 2/1 for 2 is always fine.
Yeah,
2/1 for 2 with prowess
is a little bit better.
I will tell you, I went the distance in a lot of games on the back of a 2/1 that could become a 3/1.
Yeah,
Mine was landfall, but still.
Mav Kozlek, I think we talked
I want
about.
to talk to you about that
a little bit. 2/5 for 3 in a red. It's Eldrazi drone, so it's devoid. But for 1 colorless, it gets +2, -2 until end of turn. The fact is that I never actually activated that ability once.
Really?
Mainly because I just didn't have an enormous amount of ways to generate colorless mana. I had Ancient Tomb,
Right.
I had Spawning Bed, and I had a Hedron Crawler.
Oh, that's it. Right, because you didn't open any
Right.
And that's about it. And I didn't open any
Right.
wastes. But I still felt like I had the ability to do it sometimes, but generally it was just going to be a 2/5 for 4. And I kind of like that because this thing just blocks so much stuff all day long. And it's also, and I think just on the offense, it's also pretty freaking good, especially with something like Spark Mage's Gambit, where if you can cast Spark Mage's Gambit and then get in with Mav Kozlek, you can make this thing a 5/1, right? Which is pretty freaking good.
How was that one? Consuming Sinkhole?
This card's bad.
Okay, I was wondering.
I probably shouldn't have played Consuming Sinkhole. 3 in a red, instant, devoid, choose 1, exile target land creature, or Consuming Sinkhole deals 4 damage to target player.
Wow, it actually has to be land creature.
yeah.
I thought it could just hit land.
No, so if it could hit land, this card would be much better. I never once used the first activation, only because I only saw 1 card cast for Awaken, and I only ever saw 1 person play the card that the green, like 1 in a green, target land becomes a 4/4 until end of turn. It's still a land. I was kind of expecting to see more of those cards being played. Maybe I just kind of got lucky and didn't get matched up against any, but my opponents just never played any of those cards. So this was always 3 in a red, deal 4 damage to target player. And like, it's fine. And it triggered prowess, which was okay. But overall, I think this card was this was the worst card in my deck. I definitely would have replaced it with something else. Cinder Hellion. This card is pretty real. 4 in a red for a 4/4 with trample. And when it enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to target opponent.
This is fine as a 4/4 trample for 5. Honestly,
Yeah, exactly.
The fact that you get to randomly dome them for 2 is just sort of
Yeah.
like, oh, nice.
And it's how I ended up killing my opponent one turn too.
Really, just cast it and
Yeah, because I had him down to 2/2.
Wow.
And I wasn't going to get in, and I top decked this, and I was like, bloop, and he was tapped out. There was nothing he could do, so I dealt 2 damage to him, and that felt pretty good. Nice. So, and then as for blue cards, this card.
What is that? I don't know. I have no idea what this one is.
This card's interesting.
Dimensional
Yeah.
Infiltrator. Oh, it's a rare. Okay.
Yeah, so 1 in a blue. It's a 2/1 devoid flash flyer.
Flash. Okay.
And for 1 colorless, for 1 and 1 colorless, it reads: target opponent exiles the top card of his or her library. If it's a land card, you may return the infiltrator to its owner's hands. So the idea being, you can flash it in, make a block, activate it, hope they hit a land, and then you can return it back to your hands, and you can save the guy.
Just kind of like
I did
maybe play around removal.
I did it once, and I managed to hit the land. It didn't really save me from losing the game. I was just basically playing it as a 2/1 with flying.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine. Like, I think you always play this card. Like, I don't think there's any reason why you don't. It's a 2/1 flyer for 2 that has flash and
Yeah.
some weird ability that might be relevant sometimes, but generally maybe not.
I always like the idea of like end of turn, flash in my flyer, hit you with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is Sweep Away not just nuts?
Sweep Away was very good.
This
So-
card seems great.
Yeah, so Sweep Away. So I'd have to check my.
Sorry, I kicked the.
That's fine. Okay, so Sweep Away. Figure it out. 2 and a blue. Return target creature to its owner's hand. If that creature is attacking, you put it back on top of their library. This card was pretty bonkers. I have a feeling, I never checked, and I probably should have, that I had another one of these in my pool. I probably should have taken out the stupid sinkhole and brought in
Yeah.
another Sweep
The
Away.
3-mana instant
but-
speed Griptide.
But I didn't because I'm silly. But yeah, this card was super real. And then the last card I think I'll talk about, and it's the reason why I played the colors that I did, is the Storm Chaser Mage. I opened 2 of these.
So good.
Expecting them to be incredible. I don't know. I think maybe they got a little overhyped in my opinion. I constantly forgot they had haste. Please don't do that.
Nope.
I don't think it ever cost me a game, but I constantly played them and was like,
In the second main?
Yeah, no, well, even just in the first main, I turned 2'd these once, maybe 2 or 3 times. I was just like,
Storm Chaser
Chaser,
Mage,
go.
go.
And I'm like, no.
James, don't feel bad. I had the same problem with Reality Smasher, who was a 5/5 with Trample and Haste.
What?
And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
And second main, I'll cast a Reality Smasher.
But so,
Oh, wait.
So Storm Chaser Mage, by the way, blue-red, human wizard, 1/3 flying haste with prowess. It's still really good. It blocks incredibly well. You get it down. If you can get it down on turn 2, it's just so good. Really, really, really good card. Definitely play this card.
Sweet.
And then other than like that turn 5 win, I really enjoyed this format. Like I had a lot more fun today with the format than I did with Battle for Zendikar. Now, I will fully admit that I played better today. I was more invested in my games. I was dealing with some like bullshit car insurance crap on Battle for Zendikar Day, and I was constantly on the phone with the dealership and the insurance company.
Ugh.
So it was taking me right out. So I did pretty badly. But even over the last several months, I've enjoyed Battle for Zendikar, but not as much as some of the formats past. I had a lot of fun with this set today.
Yeah.
I think the set is really going to stand out as a really great draft environment, really great limited environment. So I'm really excited to get.
I hope so.
I'm really excited to
I
get
had a lot of
drafting
fun
this.
as well.
I think it takes it gets rid of the sort of the synergy-based decks that were very prevalent in Battle for Zendikar. There were a lot of cards in BFZ that were just straight trash if they weren't in the right deck.
But isn't the draft format Oath, Battle? Right? Isn't it only 1 pack of Oath?
Oh, I don't know. If it is, then I'm not as. I thought it was Oath Battle.
Isn't that usually the case though? That it's one.
I
of
really
the small
don't.
set?
I don't. I thought they were changing it around though.
Yeah, I want to say it's Oath Battle.
Okay.
but
Well,
maybe
that
I'm
would be
wrong.
good. We'll
We'll double check on that.
Yeah, Paul's looking that up.
That will change my opinion.
Because the format for the pre-release was 4 packs of Oath and 2 packs of BFZ.
Well, but isn't that going to be the? That's the standard.
That's the sealed format.
Yeah, it's not 3 and 3.
Is it not?
Not like for
Sometimes
like,
the pre-releases are different.
Yeah, I think they changed them back to stand. We'll have to check all this because now
Yeah.
I'm curious. I was pretty sure that because Vancouver in a couple weeks is Oath sealed.
Yeah.
So is that 3 and 3 or is it 4 and 2?
We'll have to find out.
We'll have to find out.
Definitely bummed that we're not going to be. A lot of people, by the way, have been asking us if we're going to be at GP Vancouver. Myself and Cameron and Alex and James are all going to be at PAX South.
Yeah.
So if you are going to be at PAX South, come and say hi. But we will not be at GP Vancouver. But we'll try to. Presumably there'll be someone running games of Magic down there.
Surge will be.
Yeah, Serge
Yeah,
will be.
Serge is gonna be there.
GP Vancouver.
Jeremy will be there.
Matt might be.
Matt might be around. I think.
Jer.
Yeah, we
we
said
just
Jer.
said, yeah.
Oh, Jer.
Andrew Ferguson, Desert Bus photographer. I know
Oh, sweet.
will be down there. He was. He texted me the other day and asked if I was going to be there, and I'm like, no.
I thought Jordan was going to try to make it up too.
Sure. Yeah. There's definitely people around who you'll be able to say hi to and stuff if you're there, which is exciting. But anyways, yeah, I had a good day. I thought the format was super cool. Everybody was excited to be playing it, and Paul hopefully has an answer for us.
All right, so the pre-release format was 4 and 2.
Yes.
The draft is 2 oath.
Oh, good. It is 2 oath, 1 battle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2
cool.
oath, 1 battle.
Yeah, so that makes me excited. Is there any information on whether or not not pre-release sealed is going to be 4 and 2, or is it going to be 3 and 3? I don't understand. I don't think it makes any sense for them to do it differently with the pre-release.
Well, usually they want to wait the pre-release more to the new set so that people get to play the new set.
Yeah, that's fair.
So.
Who knows? That's exciting.
Yeah, I had a ton of fun today too. I mean, I did the best I've ever done at a pre-release, and I don't play Magic purely to win, but I certainly have. It's a lot easier to have fun when you're winning.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I ended up 5-0 today, which was really really great. And my deck just really came out of the gates swinging. Let me tell you about it. So the deck in brief: McKindy Slide Runner, Valakut Predator, Eldrazi Aggressor, Devour in Flames, Fall of the Titans, Warden of Geometries, which is, I just love that name, Deceiver of Form, Spatial Contortion, Essence Depleter, Altar's Reap, Sky Scourer, Grasp of Darkness, Calastria Nightwatch, Oblivion Strike, Slaughter Drone, Bearer of Silence, which was the foil, Tar Snare, 2 Tar Snares, Kozilek's Translator, Silent Skimmer, Forerunner of Slaughter, Kozilek's Shrieker, Bane of Balaged, and then a Cinder Barons, which is the red-black tap land, Crumbling Vestige, Seagate Wreckage, Evolving Wilds, Blighted Fen, and 2 Wastes. And then a bunch of basics. So yeah, basically this deck operated very quickly in one of 2 ways. Either it would come out of the gate with a bunch of cheap creatures. Like I cast turn 2 McKindy Slide Runner an unusually high percentage of the time. It's the one from BFZ. It's a 2/1 with trample for 1 and a red. When you get landfall, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And this guy was just getting in there for big chunks of damage. And a couple games I would go McKindy Slide Runner on turn 2, and then a land for landfall, and Forerunner of Slaughter, giving itself haste on turn 3, which prompted people to trade for the Forerunner of Slaughter every single time, which is fine because my Slide Runner kept getting in there. The Slide Runner and the Predator, both the landfall creatures from BFZ, both did very good work, especially comboed with Devour in Flames, which is the 2 and a red sorcery. As an additional cost, you have to bounce a land to your hand, but then it deals 5 damage to a creature or planeswalker. But I didn't face any planeswalkers, lucky me. But yeah,
neither did I. Now that I think about it,
I was able to trigger landfall again with this thing. Also, off of 4 land, I had a turn where I played this, returned a land, killed a creature, then replayed the land, and was able to play a 2-drop that turn, which was great. Fall of the Titans, like a fireball is always good. It's always a good finisher, especially in sealed. This ended a couple games for me.
Fall of the Titans was in my pool as well, and I knew you had it as well, so I figured you would talk about it. I like this card a lot.
Yeah.
It was often just sort of it's actually one thing I didn't talk about. I found it really easy to turn on Surge. Mm-hmm. So it was really, just heard that in my old noggins.
You tickle his butt.
I tickle his butt. So real easy to activate Surge. Is that better?
The ability, whatever.
Yeah, sure. Which made this card just so much better, right? Going down from XX to single X makes this card significantly better. All of a sudden, your 5 mana is doing 4 damage instead of 2, which was just bonkers good. And the fact that you get to distribute it between up to 2 target creatures and or players was fantastic. Yeah. I cast this thing for 1 once, just to 2 for 1 somebody, and I think that was fine. I think it was right, and I thought it worked out really well for me. And I cast this thing for 6 once to dome a big scary creature. I can't remember which one it was, and my opponent for 6.
I won a game where I didn't have enough. They were at 5, and I didn't have. You would need 11 mana to cast this to hard cast this, where X is 5.
Yeah.
And I drew Altar's Reap, and I was like, okay, let's do it. Sacked a creature that wasn't doing anything else, to Altar's Reap, because if I could hit a land, sorry, here's Altar's Reap. It's so you sack a creature and draw 2 cards, and if I could hit a land off of those 2 cards, then I could play the land and have enough for 1 red and exactly X = 5.
Yep.
And I was able to do that, and that won the game.
Sweet.
I also got super blown out one game by I had 3 creatures in play, and I cast the Warden of Geometries. And my opponent, sorry, Warden of Geometries is a 2/3 for 4 colorless, for 4 generic. It's a 2/3 for 4 mana with vigilance, and you can tap to add a colorless to your deck or to your mana pool. I cast it, and my opponent goes, "What's the CMC on that?" I'm like, 4, and he goes, "Yes." And I'm like, "Oh no!" So he casts Horribly Awry, because that only hits creatures with CMC 4
Or greater.
Is that correct? 4 or greater?
I thought, or it's a
4
4 or less.
4 or less.
Sorry, 4 or less. Yeah.
So he casts Horribly Awry, and I'm like, oh, okay. Exile my Warden of Geometries. And then he's able to Surge Fall of the Titans, where X is 3, to kill 2 of my other creatures.
Oh, the blow.
So I go from potentially 4 creatures to 1.
Nice.
And luckily he drew a lot of land after that.
Yep.
And I was able to battle back that game. But yeah, that was pretty scary. Cam talked about Essence Depleter. This was sweet. I was in a situation where I mentioned all the colorless producing lands I had, and I was in a situation where my opponent's at 8, and I had 8 land, and 4 of them produced colorless, and I went, pass the turn, because they had to kill me or it that turn, or else in their end step, hit
do
like
for 4.
drain for 4, untap, drain for 4.
Yeah.
And they had a 3/4, like I was at 5. They had a 3/4 flyer, they had the 5/5, the Endbringer.
Yeah.
Right.
That card's really cool, by the
Yeah.
way. And they had like a 2/2 or a 3/3 as well. And they went, I feel like I should be able to kill you this turn. And I said, I feel that way too, but I hope you can't. Because the Endbringer, it's a 5/5 for 5 and a colorless. It untaps during every untap step. You tap to ping for 1 to creature player, a colorless and tap, and a creature can't attack or block this turn, and 2 colorless and tap, and draw a card.
That is baller.
And he had to draw a card off of it, and then cast like a support card to draw cards, and just couldn't get there. And Essence Depleter was great. Like I said, Grasp of Darkness. Like you may have heard as I was going through it, my deck has a lot of removal. And when Cam and I fought in round 3, the first game was gross. I resolved 2 cheap creatures, and then I just kept drawing removal, and it was just like, kill this, kill this, kill this, kill
Cam's
this.
gonna cry.
You're gonna cry?
Play a
You're gonna
block. Play a blocker.
Kill
Removal.
it.
Play a blocker. Removal. Also, play a land.
I really
So
liked
right.
Tar Snare, which is the 2 and a black instant. Target creature gets -3/-2. Even if this can't outright kill a lot of things, though it does exactly 0 a Cloud Manta, which is nice. Even if it can't kill a lot of things by itself, you're almost definitely going to win combat with Tar Snare, which is how I used it most of the time. Because just reducing their creature by that much means it's probably not killing yours, and it's almost definitely dying to your thing. Of course, Oblivion Strike, just being able to exile something was really good. I want to talk about the mana base, because this, I think, is actually the most interesting part of this deck. Because we were talking about this, Cam, that colorless is not a color. Like Matt Tabak, the rules manager, has been hammering people with that on Twitter. Colorless is not a color, because it is not a color, because it is colorless.
It's right in the name.
However, it acts a lot like a color, because my deck is actually red-black splashing colorless is really what that is. Because I have a Cinder Barons. I'm really glad I had the Cinder Barons, which is the dual land, the red-black enters tapped dual land. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 swamps, and 1, 2, 3, 4 mountains.
Yeah.
And then I also have an Evolving Wilds, which again can go looking for a swamp or a mountain, or the Wastes. And then I have a Crumbling Vestige and a Seagate Wreckage. So if you count the Evolving and a Blighted Fen, so if you count the Evolving Wilds as a source, then I've got 8 black sources, 6 red sources, and 6 colorless sources. Because and the thing is, I've only got 2 creatures that cast, that or 2 spells that must cast for colorless, which is the Deceiver of Form and the Spatial Contortion. But I've got a lot that have colorless activated abilities, and I had 2 creatures that could generate colorless with the Warden of Geometries and Kozilek's Translator. So there was a lot of sort of synergy going on there. But it's like you're kind of in 3 colors.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you are, right?
Yeah.
Because the thing is that up until about a month ago, colorless meant that little circle
Yeah.
with the number in it.
Yeah.
And you could tap any single any mana in the game to generate that. But now that they've introduced colorless with the little diamonds,
Yeah.
that is produced by very specific sources, right? So to not call it a color is technically correct, but you should treat it as such.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? You can't throw in, 3 or 4 colorless creatures that you think are really cool and not have to, decrease the consistency of your mana base because you need to be able to cast those creatures.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like any other splash. So even if it's not technically a color, I think when you're playing, especially in limited, you should treat it as such.
Yeah, it behaves like a color.
Now,
Yeah.
as far as we know, spells that need explicitly colorless in the casting cost, like Deceiver of Forms that needs 6 of anything and actually a colorless.
Colorless, yeah.
As far as we know, that's only something that is happening in Oath of
this
the
set.
Gatewatch. In
Correct.
Oath of the Gatewatch, but they could easily bring it back.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Some things I really like. The Bearer of Silence. This was the promo foil I had. It's a 2/1 flyer for 1 and a black, which is already sweet. It can't block, whatever. If you cast it, you can pay 1 and a colorless sort of as a kicker, and if you do your opponent sacrifices a creature.
I like this better than my 2/1 flyer.
Yeah, the 2/1 with your
the flash
exile
and the-
ability.
yeah.
I think this one is
It's
much
significantly better.
So being able to go like McKindy Slide Runner into Forerunner, giving itself haste into this on turn 4 was a
That was a beating when that
solid
happened to me.
solid line.
That was a beating.
Crumbling Vestige was really interesting. You had a Crumbling Vestige,
Yes, I
right?
did. And it
I
was-
really liked this.
Yeah.
This let me keep. This was a colorless source that I needed for a lot of activated abilities I had, but it made me keep. It allowed me to keep hands I would otherwise have had to mulligan, because it meant I was like, well, I've got this heavy hand here. I've got like Fall of the Titans that I don't need to cast until much later in the game, but I also have this Valakut Predator I'd like to cast on 3, but I don't have any mountains.
Oh, wait.
But if I use Crumbling Vestige, play it, make a red, cast my Predator on 3, I don't need to draw into other red until much later in the game. This actually lets me keep this hand.
Yep.
I thought this was sweet, actually. I think this is a really neat design.
Yeah.
This could be an early pick.
I can see
Yeah.
that. And then this thing, Seagate Wreckage. So this is enters untapped, which is nice. Which is nice. What?
I can only ever think of hard drive crashes whenever you.
Seagate Wreckage.
Seagate Wreckage, yeah.
Oh, my drives.
So it enters untapped, taps for a colorless, and has this ability to and a colorless and tap it, draw a card. But you can only activate it if you have no cards in hand. So in round 5, I was in a position where I was ahead on board, but I'd like spent everything. So I just had 3 lands in Seagate Wreckage sitting over the side, and at the end of their turn it'd be like, tap, draw a card, untap, draw a card, play a land, cast a spell, go.
Yeah.
Tap, draw a card.
Really bad opposite Library of Alexandria.
Yeah.
Probably still quite good.
Well, it was really good especially in this deck, which was very aggressive, right? And then I did get to do. Someone called it a Lion's Eye Diamond, or not Lion's Eye Diamond. It was a sort of like DIY Ancestral. What was it? Anyway, it was. I made an intentionally bad attack. So I had an Altar's Reap in hand. I knew I wanted to use it. So I made an intentionally bad attack to get more damage in. Because if I had to sack one of my creatures anyway, I may as well just throw it away in combat and incentivize them to block the bad creature, letting the good creature get more damage in. Cast Altar's Reap, sacrificing that creature. With Altar's Reap on the stack, and therefore not in my hand, I hold priority on the Altar's Reap, activate Seagate Wreckage to draw a card, then draw 2 cards off the Altar's Reap. And that was how I got back into that game after mulliganing to 5. and that was fun. So yeah, Seagate Wreckage is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And yeah, Red Black is still a very, very good deck, as it turns out.
I really want to pull together a mono colorless deck for standard.
There,
Yeah,
a list exists.
yeah,
I can't remember. Is it Chapin?
yeah. Chapin maybe.
Yeah, it was
But
Chapin
like
who.
Thought Knot Seer, Matter Reshaper, Endbringer,
Yep.
Hangerback Walker,
Yep.
Yeah.
Ghost Fireblade,
Yep.
Seagate Wreckage,
Yep. I think those are all in the list.
yeah,
yeah.
Mage Ring Network,
Yep.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah.
and play kind of like a virtual Urzatron.
Yeah.
kind of
Mage Ring's on his list too, I think.
Oh, rad. Okay. Yeah, and call it Glass Blasters from Outer Space.
Awesome.
If you
right.
missed it, I'm at least calling the colorless symbol glass.
Right.
Alex brought that to us from YJ.
All right.
Real quick, I had to ask Sturge about this. The Deceiver of Form. I had to make a judge call. So Deceiver of Form, 6 in a colorless for an 8/8, which was the main reason I was running it. But it has this weird ability. At the beginning of combat on your turn, reveal the top card of your library. If a creature card is revealed this way, you may have all creatures you control other than Deceiver of Form become copies of that card until end of turn. You may put that card in the bottom of your library. But I was asking him, that last sentence applies regardless. So whether you reveal a creature or not, you can put the card in the bottom of your library.
Interesting.
So this let me chew through a couple swamps that I didn't need.
Nice.
Also, I had Sky Scourer out, which is a 1/2 flyer for 1 and a black. If you cast a colorless spell, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It's not amazing, but I liked having it as a low drop. I had it out when I played the Deceiver, and so I also had to ask Serge this because he was there anyway. You play the Deceiver, that triggers the Sky Scourer. Even if you choose to make it a copy of another creature, it retains the +1/+0.
Sweet.
So that's just a corner case that will never be relevant to you, but that's why we're here. Ha ha!
Sweet.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I saw a lot of really cool decks. I got actually real quick, that green card, 1 and a green. You had a couple of them. 1 and a green. One of your lands becomes a 4/4 with haste, and must be blocked.
Yeah.
I didn't know that rider, that it must be blocked.
Yeah.
I was in a situation where this nearly cost me the game. Really early on, I had played he's lost. Where is he? He's missing. 1 and a black
Valakut?
for a 2/2.
Oh.
There he is. Slaughter Drone. Played the Slaughter Drone on turn 3. 1 and a black for a 2/2 with Devoid, for a colorless Slaughter Drone gains Death Touch until end of turn. And I just sort of, without thinking, I tapped black and a Wastes and was like, I play this guy. And my opponent says, what is that? And I'm like, oh, it's just a 2/2, but I can pick colorless. Oh, I guess I tapped wrong. Oh well, it won't be. I said out loud, it won't matter. And pass the turn, and he's like, I think I want to kill that, and then cast the 1 and a green.
Yeah.
Must be blocked, and I didn't have the colorless up, and I couldn't block and trade, so this thing just died. I don't know if that card is actually amazing,
I don't think it's amazing. I think it's fine.
but in the sort of the red-green landfall aggro deck that I think has more legs in this format. I could be wrong. Elemental Uprising, that's the one. I think it's good. I think it's a good 2-drop. I mean, you'd rather like a McKinney Slide Run or something that sticks around, but you can really just like crunch their early play.
Yeah, I feel like this is on the high end of the picks or the low end of the picks and the high end of your deck number, like 22, 23 number card.
Oh yeah, no.
You
I just wanted to share that it was a gross blowout, not that it was necessarily amazing on its own. But I think it's
I like the art.
It's a much more interesting
Wait, is
card
it
than I thought it
fighting
was.
that same dude? It's not fighting the card that it killed, is it?
Not quite. No. No, this
It is doing what it did to you, though. It did surprise kill your Eldrazi.
It sure did.
And it's a smaller one, so.
It sure did.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
you're just out for a walk in the woods, and the woods punches you in the stomach real hard.
With giant claws, too.
and you're
Yeah.
like, where did that come from?
That's interesting.
Yeah. What's that, Paul?
I just wanted to do a quick survey of all of you who actually opened them, how many people actually played with just straight wastes in your deck?
Yep.
Oh, I thought you were only using non-basic.
No, I also had 2 wastes.
Oh, okay.
I had one.
Yeah. And because the Evolving Wilds also got to go look for wastes.
Right.
If I had opened one, I probably still wouldn't have played it.
Yeah, I played.
Didn't need to. But
I played 1 waste, 2 unknown shores. Then I had the Seer's Lantern and 2 Kozilek's translators for colorless sources.
Yeah, I guess if there had been just a box of wastes like there are the other lands, would you have played more?
no.
No.
Again,
No, because I had 3, and that was all. I only wanted to run the 2.
I feel like you're playing like a couple if you're splashing some cards, or you're playing a lot. Because the thing is that it's probably going to be pretty unlikely, especially in draft, that you're going to be able to run a colorless heavy deck. Because you just have to draft the waste, right? You can't add waste to your deck like you do with the regular mana, which I think is also kind of interesting when we were talking about the color thing. It's harder to find. In some cases, there are definitely a lot of creatures and other non-basics that produce colorless, but you still need to draft those wastes if you need them.
Yeah.
So
These
I think it's kind of interesting.
Toothless Eldrazi Mirror are fine for making
Yeah,
colorless mana.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. The breakdown was I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had 6 cards that either cast for color that had colorless in their casting cost or had an activated ability that required it. And then 1, 2, 3. I had 8 ways of generating colorless between 6 lands and then the Warden of Geometries and the Kozilek's Translator. And again, I'm counting Evolving Wilds, searching up the
I
waste
had
as a
6
source.
creatures that had ability, or 6 spells that required colorless or had a colorless activation, and 6 colorless sources, which was a little starved, to be honest. But I'm not sure how I would have improved it. I think I would. Man, Painlands would have been really good.
But I didn't encounter mana issues.
Yeah.
Today, which was real nice because I was really worried about this mana base.
Yeah, it could have used a bit of fine tuning. I'm not going to lie to you. I had a lot of double black and a lot of double white, and then also explicitly colorless sources, which,
Yeah.
8 sources, 5 receptors.
That
sounds good.
Yeah. So that was our pre-release.
And how did everybody do?
3 and 2,
And that got you,
4 packs.
and Graham,
I went 5-0,
and that got you.
20 packs.
I went 4-0-1. I drew in the last round, so my opponent could go home and get food because he wasn't feeling well.
Nice.
15 packs. We did play a game, by the way, actually, really quickly, and he crushed the ever-loving shit out of me. Draina is not a fair card.
No.
That stupid, dumb card is so good.
That's the
I
reason
don't like it.
That's the reason I went
Drawn
2
on
and 3.
3.
And 2 and 3, and even then, you got
A pack.
a pack. Love YJ, even pays
Yep.
out a losing record. I think that's good. That's what that is!
It is a
I'm
losing
just,
record.
It's a
I'm
losing
just
record.
calling it what it is, Ian. You
I'm
had
sorry.
a losing
You were a
record.
loser.
a
even-
loser's record.
Yeah.
The
Even
kind of
with
record
your
a
loser's
loser
record,
has.
There are no-
YJ, who are very generous and kind, paid out Ian's loser record of 2 and 3,
That's 3 losses. And
Yeah.
only
which is
2
more than
wins.
his number
It
of
was good,
wins.
though, because you started off 0-1, right?
Yep.
And then we retooled your deck.
Yeah.
And you won the next 2 rounds, I think.
Correct.
And then the wheels just fell off.
Yeah.
But- all
I
right.
think I had a stroke or
So is that going to do it, I think?
That was a fun
Yeah.
day, yeah.
for
was a fun
for this
day.
podcast. It was a good pre-release. I hope you guys had fun at yours. This podcast is going online right away, so we will tell you about something that we're doing tomorrow, Sunday, the 17th of January. We're in January, right?
Yep.
We're going to be streaming. We're going to be doing AFK, which is our show over at twitch.tv/LoadingReadyRun of us playing tabletop games.
Yeah.
We're going to take these decks, or at least these three gentlemen are. I'm not available. Are going to take their decks, and I think Kathleen is going to come in as well. She was able to.
She will have built a pre-release.
She will have built a pre-release deck, and I think they're going to battle.
Yep.
I don't know what the format. I think the format should just be like.
Play games for fun.
Oh, no, screw that. I was going to say like you and Cam versus each other, Ian and Kathleen versus each other, and the winner plays the winner from each one, and then you're grand champion.
Nice. Okay.
So that's 3 rounds of Magic.
Yeah.
It'll probably take a couple hours.
Maybe I
So,
can get to a winning record.
so we're going to be doing that tomorrow. There's no official set time yet. You can check loadingreadyrun.com/live. We'll put it on the schedule and
Tweet it out.
And
Or
tweet
you
it
definitely
out.
follow on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you follow us on Twitter at LoadingReadyRun, or follow us on our Magic specific Twitter account, which is at LRRMTG. You should definitely be following that. It's not a heavily used Twitter account, but we definitely
We
use
use it
it.
a lot during pre-releases to tell you how we're doing.
Seems
Yeah.
like you might be interested in that.
Yeah,
sort
you
of
should
Twitter.
probably
Yeah.
check
Your
it. You
thing.
should check it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, so look forward to that. And I guess we'll do this all over again for Shadows over Innistrad
Yeah.
in a couple of months.
Yeah.
And maybe
know,
something even I have ideas for something I want to do for that specific pre-release weekend. So if we can make it happen,
Open Lilianas.
be super excited.
That is-
Yeah.
We're planning to
That's
open
correct.
many Lilianas of the Veil, which are guaranteed reprints.
Oh, they're just going to
Shadows over
reprint.
Innistrad.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
absolutely.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed reprints
Doesn't-
of Liliana in Shadows over Innistrad.
So you know that's not going to happen, right?
You shut your filth hole. They have to give me my Lily back.
Oh dear.
Bring back.
Our podcasts are brought to you by you and your kind support of us at our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Please check that out. We really appreciate it. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
They're going to give me Liliana of the Pale.
Stop gilding a lily cam.